We were speaking last night at Shivaji Park. How many of you were at Shivaji Park last night? Well, all of you together was like one dot on a long line of people, especially the prasadam line. Is there any estimation how many people were there last night? Raja Bihari, you are expert at statistics. According to Braj Bihari Prabhu's calculation, coming to Radhikapati Prabhu, there was 175,000 people there. Hari Hari. That means coming, going, some staying. Anyways, we are discussing how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is Namo Mahabhadanyaya, Krishna Prem Pradayate. He's most magnanimous because he's seeing the potential in everyone. And he's giving everyone a chance. Still, we have to respond. So when he was in South India, he came through this area of Maharashtra. According to one biographer of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, some of you will be happy to hear this. Lord Chaitanya came to Pune. And it said that it reminded him of Navadvip because there were so many educational institutions. Does that make you happy? Well, after that, he came to a place, a temple called Khandwa. And there, it was a very sad situation. The priests of the temple were extremely manipulative and exploitative. And there were young girls who were not married. For whatever reason, they were not married. So they seduced these girls to marry their deity. And once they married their deities, they were told, now you are heavenly goddesses, and you could do anything you want. You are above the laws and all the rules of this material world. And the deity wants you to rob, to steal, to kill, to become prostitutes. And they didn't know what else to do. They were kind of like slaves. And first, when they started doing all these nefarious, horrible things, they felt so guilty in their hearts. But they were being given a whole philosophy to rationalize that this is the will of God speaking to you. You are his wives. You must do it. So they did it, and they did it. And what was once a state where they were very guilty about it, because they kept doing it again and again, they had no remorse, they had no guilt. That's the way human nature is. On a physical level, on an emotional level. Just like you've seen these karate people where they can, when I was a little boy, I thought these people are really strange. I would see them, there would be a big log of wood, and with their hand they would go, and the wood would go. Have you seen that? How did they not break their hand? It doesn't even hurt. They don't even go like this. They just... because they begin going like this. In fact, so many of my friends, they would see this and they would be going like this. In school, they'd be going like this, trying to make their hand hard. Because little pain, little pain, little pain, little pain, little pain, until there's actually no more feeling. No more feeling. It's called a callus or something like that. So the mind is like that too, and the heart is like that. When we do something with guilt, birth after birth, what to speak of just this life, if you just keep doing it, there's no more guilt anymore. In many cases, guilt is the voice of the Paramatma, the Lord in our heart, telling us this is not right. But when we keep ignoring that voice, we can't hear it at all anymore. And we see, sometimes criminals, they have no remorse. So these ladies were like that. They became like monsters. It was as if they had no conscience and no soul. They would do anything and everything they were told to do, wicked things. And they thought they were happy because they were living a very high life. But deep down inside, they suffered so bad. And Lord Chaitanya, he came to that temple. At that time, he was only about 26 years old. He was very beautiful. And they were hardcore, murderous prostitutes. And they were looking at him because he was the most beautiful personality in the whole existence. And he looked at them and incessantly wept in pity for them. Nobody else did that. They were abominable. He didn't want to enjoy them. He didn't want to manipulate them like everybody else. He wasn't afraid of them. He cried because he saw their eternal souls and he saw the terrible disease they were suffering. They were beside themselves. His compassion melted their egos to such an extent that they realized what they have been doing. They felt total shame. Like a tsunami wave of shame came upon them. And they saw that he really cared. And all together, they fell and did their dandavats at his feet. And they started crying and begged, please save us. Please save us. And then they were ready. They were ready for his instruction. He said, you should do what pleases Krishna. You should live with the highest character, the highest integrity. You should chant the names of Krishna. You should live with pure compassion for all beings. And on the basis of Lord Chaitanya's compassion, and the tears of his affection for their souls, and the instructions he gave, they left that temple. They had the courage to leave. And they all became like sannyasinis. Or whatever, they didn't take sannyas or anything, but they just had no material desires. They actually started a Sankirtan party. And the whole area, they became instruments of Lord Chaitanya's compassion, and they had thousands, hundreds and thousands of people become pure devotees, raising their arms and loudly calling out Krishna's name.